intro video. Interesting. I might have to think about that. Should I come up with an intro video?
You could.
I have no idea what it would be.
You've seen the intros we have on the fishing channel.
Yeah, well, I might have to. I just might have to experiment with different options. Oh, so check this out. While we get started, so my desktop like conglomeration coin holder thing.
Yeah.
So I made it bigger to hold more rolls and stuff in the back, and then I printed it in the tricolor.
Nice.
So I got like blue green on the front, and so I've got what do I have? I just have extra flips here. I've got my labels here. Rolls I got 2 deep. I've got the nickels here, and then some more nickels, and then some pennies. Empty flips right here.
Yeah.
And then just miscellaneous storage on the front.
Yep.
So I printed that out last night, and I was like, "Yep, that's how we're gonna do it."
Yeah, I was smart. I mean, after 1 o'clock, finally went to bed and then stared at the clock till 4.
Oh.
I'm like, oh. And then the dogs got me up at 7:30. I'm like, oh.
You're like, come on, just a few more hours.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we got a couple people here. I know it looks like Coin Junkie jumped in earlier, probably about the time that I was setting up the stream, and said hello. So if you see this later on, Coin Junkie, hello. Good to see you. Something Blues and I, we were talking about, I think kind of like the last few weeks, and we kind of got together and we were like, hey, we should do a video about this or live stream or whatever, because there's lots of like different ways to do this specifically. So the topic is selling online. We've talked a little bit about this previously on some other live streams and videos, but I guess the different take on it for this show would be some more specifics, specifically on eBay sales, and just different aspects of online sales to help you out. So there's going to be a lot of things that I'm actually going to lean on Blues on a little bit more. He has a lot more experience on the eBay side, just with his history than I do. And I've asked him actually a lot of questions, and really a lot of questions about, hey, I know I can do this thing with this. Like, how do I do this? What's the best way to do this? Just to get his perspective on, coming from the scope of being both a seller and a buyer on eBay. What are some of the beneficial things that I can gain from his experience to make the listings that I put up better? So that's kind of the premise to the whole thing. So some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. Hey, look at that. There's Coin Junkie right there.
There he is.
There he is. He's back. One of the things is just kind of how, what kind of organization that you should have for your eBay listings. So I'm going to talk about just kind of how I go through my organization. And then I'll let Blues talk about some of the specifics that he does. So first things first, with me is that for all of the things that I sell, I always utilize the custom label field. And the custom label field is just a kind of a not a blank field, but it's a text field that you can enter information in. And what I use that for is I use that to basically code what I am selling. So, for example, this one that I have listed actually recently happens to be a 1939 Woody that I have for my collection. And you can see the code on it that I have CW0001. So that's what I'm going to put into the custom label field for this listing. And what that does is that does a couple of things for me. The W for this one is just classified as a Woody. The C just references me versus anything consignments or otherwise that might go through me. And the 0001 is just really a denominator for me to know which one specifically, because there may be examples that I have where I have more than one 1939, so I will label them separately 001, 002, 003, and that way I know if a coin is sold, specifically which one that it is. So that's what I do, and I may code mine in different examples. I think I've got some Buffalo nickels posted up that is like CN or C, and then how do I have it? Like 15001. And that would be reflective of 1915-001. So I can also look through the dates and pick out that specific coin based off the pictures that I posted. So the other thing that I do in my listing is I take pictures of the coin front and back, obviously, but I also take a picture of the label. So if there's any questions as far as what coin that I'm grabbing, even if I miss the custom label, it will be right here in the picture, so that I can look at the picture and also, just as a double check for myself, that I double check the custom label with the picture to ensure that I have an accurate alignment of, hey, this is the specific coin that is purchased. And that's going to be really important for anybody who is selling coins online through eBay, especially if you have multiples of the same year or the same type.
Yeah, he makes a good point. I'm bad at that, and I ran into a problem twice this year where I actually had two coins of the same date listed, and I really tried not to do that, and I ended up sending the wrong coin. The buyers were understanding; they got a hold of me. My listings, I will make it right, even if it costs me.
Yeah.
So I immediately sent out the coin that they bought. They got to keep the first coin that I sent them, because paying for the shipping to come back, it's a lose-lose.
Right.
So I got to adapt some type of labeling system where I don't have to deal with that. It's really a pain in the butt. Some buyers are pretty understanding. Some of them could be pricks. So just do what works for you, but I highly recommend some type of labeling system, especially if you're going to be doing lots and lots and lots of coins. It's just going to help so much in the long run. A little bit more work up front, maybe what, 20 seconds.
I mean,
So,
if that, yeah.
yeah. But
Because
yeah,
most of the time I have the labels that I've already made or then I'm making. So it's just adding whatever code I decide to use for that particular coin. Yeah, it doesn't add very much. And also it's really just peace of mind for me that I have these checks and balances in place so that I don't basically get lost in the shuffle of, hey, I have 4,232 coins sitting on my desk. Somebody bought one. Which one is it?
That brings me to my next question for you. Once they're listed, I mean, are you have like a separate red box that you use that, okay, these are small cents. This box is nickels. This box is silver dollars. Do you keep them separated by denomination, or do you just put everything in one area?
So I got one of these. This is a, what is this, a 18 compartment thing. Where did I get this from? Acro Mills. This one I got at Hobby Lobby for like, I don't know, like $8 or something like that. And it's perfect for the size of, this happens to be my so-called dollars one, but I'm using one of these for all of my eBay things, and it's labeled eBay. But I will have them set up so that I've got, Indian Head and Flying Eagles here, Lincoln Cents here, Lincoln Wheat, Lincoln Memorial. So I've got the different categories that I could put them in. I've got one thing for all of my the earlier Buffaloes, the Buffalo Nickels. So that I can go through and I can find the category that they're in and be able to look through them and see, okay, here's the 1915, and this happens to be number 9. And that's the one that sold. And I can pick out that one from there. And it keeps it just in a really nice, contained space.
Yeah. Everything's in one spot. No tearing apart the desk, trying to find it, going, oh, did I accidentally put that coin away?
Nothing like this.
Yeah, that's what I do. I put everything in a red box, and then I'm
Which the other side to that, if that's it's not technically wrong though. I mean, as long as your coin is labeled or it's in a container that is not going to be mixed up with anything else, and it is your eBay box or your sales box or whatever kind of qualifier or identifier that at least allows you to know, hey, I know it's in this box. That will also be a form of checks and balances to ensure that you don't put it in the wrong one.
Right. And I've done that. I've set them down and not put them where they're supposed to be, and then had to spend time trying to find it or where I put it, and it's aggravating. So once you get a system set up and it works, just maintain it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing eBay for over 20 years. So you get something set up and it works, you just got to maintain it. And I've been real bad about the coin part of it because I normally deal with vintage and antique stuff. So I got to develop a surefire way for the coin side of eBay.
And especially if you have boxes, like you can write, you can put together a whole box and then write on the label or on the box somewhere whatever your custom identifier is, if your custom label, and that way if it's on the shelf, like you can box it all the way up and seal it if you want. Obviously I don't, because I put a packing list in there, but I mean, you could theoretically, depending on how you wanted to ship it, you could seal it all up and then write the number on the outside and then match that to your custom label. And that way you just grab it from the shelf, slap your label on it, and you ship it out.
Yeah. So cool stuff.
So something that I would recommend is however your categorization is. Have it something consistent and something that you will always remember what it is just by looking at it. So, like if I have an example, I don't know if I have another example of something that I have written down. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull one up. Because I know that I have different codes that I use. Okay. So one of the ones that I have is CK7601. And what that happens to be is it is a coin. And it is a Kennedy. And that's a 1976 Kennedy specifically. And it's the number one that I have selling of that particular coin, and it's got it's a clipped planchet, so I can look through here and I know exactly basically what that is. So you may, depending on how you wanted to do it, an example is that you could write C for coin, and then Kennedy $50, so KH or K. You can write the full date 1976 or just 76, and then do like CP1 or CP2, or you could do E1 for an error. And so that way you could have your custom labeling and you can look at it and say, I know what this is. You know, looking at a pile of coins, I'm looking for a coin. It's going to be a Kennedy $50. It's going to be a 1976, and it's going to be some kind of error coin.
Right. One thing I want to add is we're talking about labeling and stuff like that. Don't let that overwhelm you. All right. It is very easy to get caught up in the paperwork part of this, and it kind of takes the fun out of buying and selling on eBay. So just I don't even know how to explain it. It could really get to you real fast if you're just concentrating too much on the labeling and everything like that. So
yeah, I was just giving an example of what somebody might be able to do.
yeah.
Just as far as it's a good way to have some kind of checks and balance to ensure that they don't have an issue where they are sending the wrong coin, because especially depending on what coins that they're selling, that could be sending somebody a $50 coin that bought a $4 coin.
Right.
So yes, whatever your system is, just ensure that it solves for checks and balances. That's all.
Yeah. And the more you do, you'll develop more stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just come to you. I need to start doing this. I was selling 8 coins, now I'm selling 20. Well, now I'm selling 30. So I got to come up with some type of different thing to help keep track of them. So these skills you will develop as you're doing it. So as you're selling. All right. More coffee.
So if you are putting coins on, we'll say eBay, your biggest thing is clear pictures, which is one of the number one things that actually is in the guide for listing items on eBay, is clear pictures for the obverse and the reverse. Blues and I have gone through hours of trolling through eBay and just having a really good time, just with the quality of pictures that people upload. Where, like, we joke that, oh, they clearly must have taken this picture from the moon, because it's that far away, it's out of focus, and like there's just no way that you could even tell what kind of coin it is, at some points where just the pictures that are uploaded. So clear obverse, reverse. Some people prefer to take a picture that encompasses the entire coin, that has, space around it. For me, I think it just depends on what you're trying to show, because you can have a general view, because maybe you don't have the facilities to necessarily take full pictures, and maybe you have to take multiple pictures of just the quadrants, right? So you have four pictures instead of one. Other than USB microscopes, there's also phones that have really good pictures, really good cameras. Cameras is the term I'm looking for. Um, or, I mean, if you wanted to go this route, you could go full digital camera. Obviously, that comes with its own opportunities with, macro, micro, lenses and stuff to really get an in close view of the picture. But your pictures will definitely, in my opinion, the pictures will make or break anyone looking at your listing or really taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The USB scopes, they work great for pennies, dimes, nickels. Anything above that, they're not so good because you just can't get far enough away from the coin and keep it in focus. Particularly like on my listing, all of my small cents are done with my USB scope. So I get good quality pictures of the front and back, and the option of doing the close up, like if it's an RPM.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Potential buyers want to see that. They are going to want to see that part of the coin. They're just not going to take your word for it on the title. There's too many scammers out there. You got to show this stuff.
Yeah. In your listing description, try to be as specific as possible. For example, the year, the mint. I'm talking about coins here, but this also goes into other items. The year, the mint, what it is, and any specifics about it that you can provide. An example would be 1983 Lincoln Memorial, um, DDR or something to that effect, so that anybody looking at the description of your listing that is looking for something specific can look at your description and say, "Hey, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna look into this." The For some coins that are like 1965 Lincoln penny, well, that's really not descriptive of really anything other than just a basic, hey, it's a 1965 Lincoln cent. Well, what kind of condition is it in? Is it graded? If it's not slabbed, then like what would be, what would be the approximate grade? Something that would draw some decent attention towards your listing is it's in the description.
Mm-hmm. Um, Once you got what CJ was saying, you got your coin problem, what it is, variety, error, RPM, DDO, whatever, and stuff like that. Um, Having a description already in place that is universal to all your listings. All right. So let me see. Me.
You go you going over templates?
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
This is on every listing that I have. All right. I come up here and that's always the same. I always put what the coin is. All right. You get the coin shown in the picture. I know it's going to sell below $20, so it's plain white envelope for $1. This information is the same throughout my listing. All right. So I do have service dogs here. I do have a hair problem. I put that in there so when people get these boxes and there is a hair on a piece of tape, they don't have to wonder what hair it is. All right. They're going to know it's from a dog. Enough said on that. All right. I only ship in the United States. That is in my description. There is no question. They can't say we didn't know. All right. I always get stuff out 1 or 2 days after payment is received. That is important. eBay has a standard. They don't want you to wait to ship stuff. You will see descriptions where people like, I ship once a week because they have a work schedule. They can only do it once a week, right? But it's in their description. So there's no going back saying, I didn't know it was 4 days for you to ship. All right. Well, if you didn't read the description, then that's your own fault. So come up with something that is basically a cut and paste that you could put on there. Make a template. All right. If you're not sure what to put in there, what I did is I went and looked at other people's descriptions on eBay to give myself ideas of what kind of information should be added. And then I just made little notes and I made my own off of that. So if you kind of get stuck on what should be added, what shouldn't be added, what's too much information, you could always look at other people's descriptions to get ideas. I do not recommend that you cut and paste their description to your thing. All right.
Yep, probably not good.
Probably not good. So, and what's your feeling on the AI?
I'm very mixed about the AI portion of the of like the listing description, because it's really kind of generic and there are some specific things that I don't like, like if they're, and this is very specific on some listings where it will claim things that aren't accurate, which I don't like. Like, this coin is missing its mint mark, which makes it a must-have in anybody's collection. It's like, well, no, that's not actually accurate. That's no, that's wrong. And like, as you start to see, like, especially with the amount of hey Blue Moon, with the amount of listings that I think both Blues and I go through, like, you can scroll through and just look at the listing and know immediately if it's been scripted by AI, because they will have a general format that stays the same regardless on what the coin is.
Right.
So I'm mixed. I think I guess the biggest part of it is go with what you want. If you want to start with AI, an AI generated description, and then modify it from there to basically to make your own, then I would encourage you to do that, because then that gives you some customized ability to to make it your own. And then, especially if you look at other listings, and also, a conglomeration of some AI generation, you could probably and very easily come up with your own custom template. So what I wanted to show is, I'm going to show
You can show one of your templates.
right here. So if you go into your sales and you go into create a listing, these are my templates that I have listed right here. So like Lincoln Memorial set, anything in the Lincoln Memorial will always be in here. The presidential ballistic rolls, I have a couple more of those left. And I have very specific details in there because they're a bigger box, so I can't ship them plain white envelope. Like, there is some additional shipping things that I have on there. Basic V nickels or Liberty head nickels. I have those, so they are in the specific categories. And so if I just went in to edit one of these, so the template, I always leave a blank at the front, because it's going to depend on what date that it is. So I'll leave that blank. No, sorry, that's my template right here, title. So I put X's in where I don't have the date, and I remove the X's and then put the date. The custom label, again, that's where I'm going to put my my code, so I know which one that it is. Category is already set up. All of these specifications are already set up except for the year. Now, as I type in the year in here, like if I go 1915, it may ask me, do I want to add the year? And if I choose yes, then it will automatically put the year down here when I'm creating the listing. So, a lot of these things are going to be common. So here is what my base description is for a Liberty nickel. Is just going to be this. This coin is a great example of a previous era in coinage of the United States. The V nickel was designed by Charles Barber and first released in 1883. These affordable examples are a great start to a Liberty nickel collection, or to use as hole fillers to complete a collection. And then I have a blank for the mintage for me to put in the mintage. What's up, Monkey King? Welcome in. So this kind of gives you an idea of, so here's my template. So if I wanted to list a Liberty nickel, I'm going to use this template and then basically just change a few things, add a few things in, and then I can, and then I could submit it. That really saves me from having to type everything in every single time, because let's be real, like, we don't have time for that.
Yeah. One of the things on your, let me see, where was it?
Which one?
Right before the description, there's a box up there. It says condition description.
Yeah.
All right. If it's not in the graded holder, then you don't need to put a grade down there. All right. If you're really good at grading, yes. I'm pretty decent at grading. I never put a grade.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a grade in the grade section, but if I was going to put something, I would put it in the description and specify, I am not a professional grader. However, this is where my, like, this is where I would grade it if I was grading it.
Yeah. I have a habit of just using a catch-all, and that is please see pics for condition of coin.
Yeah, and all of the coins, especially on like the vehicles you saw on the one that I had up there, that I had circulated, because all the vehicles that I have are circulated, and it says see pictures for condition, and that references back to, hey, like you need to see you need to look at the pictures and make your own conclusion on what you feel like the coin, what condition that the coin is in there.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be what templates, and there'll be descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
We did good picks.
Mm-hmm.
Your title.
Yes.
All right. I always try to keep the title short and sweet and to the point.
Mm-hmm.
1926 S Wheat Penny.
Right.
If it's not, if it's a coin that basically is a book filler, I will put that in there. Book filler. So they know it's not going to be a high graded or what's the other word?
A high grade.
Yeah, a high grade coin. They know that's just going to be a good book filler coin. All right. Don't need to add a lot of fluff to it.
Well, and you only have a certain character amount for your description.
Right.
So all the more
CJ,
reason to make sure that to keep it very detailed but as concise as possible.
right. CJ and I, we've seen posts on there where it'll be like BU plus 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 and um, better than graded condition. I'm like, no, that's fluff. You're hyping up your title. There's really no need to do that. The date and the coin will speak for itself.
Yeah.
All right. We see a lot of fluff on listings, and I just scroll right by them. I don't even if it's a coin I'm looking for, I don't. If they're putting that fluff in there, then they're doing something else.
Well, and it really shows that like especially the plus plus. Well, like I get somebody wanting to highlight the condition that it's in, but still, like the same thing goes, is that like if it's a plus or a star, then that should be something that would be listed on the holder as that type of designation, and not trying to overgrade what the coin is actually.
Yeah. So they're talking about $10 bills on the chat. So
Yeah, they Monkey King got 3 sequential $10 bills at Target today. So
oh, that's
yeah,
sweet.
they're just talking about that. They have a couple of folds in them, so how to keep them as crisp as possible. So yeah, so in a book, or you can try steaming them. I'm like, there's a couple of ways to try to get them to loosen up. But yeah. What else do you have in your notes?
One of the things, this will only apply to basically new eBayers, but if you're going to get on there and you're going to start selling coins, as a new eBayer, you're going to have zero feedback. You're not established. So I recommend you start with small items, 8, 10, 12, $12 coin items. Make a name for yourself before you start posting 50, 60, 100, $150 items. Because I've been doing this a long time. CJ's been buying for a long time. I've been buying for a long time. When I see somebody with zero feedback and they got a coin up there for $150, I scroll right by it. So you got to make a name for yourself, and it's tough. All right. For every 10 sales that you make, you might only get 4 feedbacks from those. Maybe half of them will leave a feedback. I've sold thousands of items. I have less than 700 feedbacks. So not everyone leaves a feedback. So establish yourself, start making a name for you. Once you develop a good name and a good product, good pricing and everything like that, you're going to have people that's going to be watching your stuff because they know they're going to get a decent coin. They know the shipping rates are fair. They know the timelessness, getting the item to them, and it packaged properly and secure is right. You're going to start having followers that are going to be keeping an eye on your stuff because they know they know you're doing it right. So that's my recommendation if you're just getting into it, and that's my start small, develop your name, develop that reputation, that repetition on the eBay that you're doing the right thing. So,
and here's I'm gonna throw this in because I've seen it, and Blues and I have talked about it, but it you don't see this very often. So in the pictures, you have the option of putting in pictures and also a video. Here's the other thing to think about is that you are you have your YouTube brand specifically, and use the name that you have on YouTube. So then you can put something in the description, check out my YouTube channel. There was one that I saw that actually Blues and I talked about it for like a couple of hours, and I thought it was really interesting. I don't know the specifics on if eBay specifically allows videos like this fashion, but the thing that I saw that just kind of was really interesting is in the description of this guy's listing, he had a video of the coin that he was selling, and he had embedded it in the description. And I thought that was really interesting because I was like, hey, this might actually make some sense as long as it's also okay by eBay standards, which I don't. But that could be one of the things that if you are working to build your brand as far as selling coins, it's a way to branch or to connect your YouTube brand to an eBay site. I thought it was really kind of an interesting, and I know Blues and I talked about it for a couple of hours, and it was like, I'm not sure if this is specifically eBay legal, but it's really kind of interesting because anybody that looked at that description, that watched that video, would that count for views on your YouTube channel? Which I believe that it would. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that for a while.
Because it was unique because I hadn't seen things like that in that kind of format. I was like, hey, that's really interesting. Like, really interesting. So one of the things that I wanted to do is to kind of bring up some examples. So I have about maybe 8 or 9 examples of different listings that I've pulled off of eBay, both good and bad. There happens to be a lot more probably poor by my standards. Um, Listings, just so like I don't want to specifically call the sellers out, but I do want to make sure that as a user of eBay, as a buyer of eBay, that we put out information to make sure that you guys are aware and know what to look for. So again, this is my disclaimer. I'm not trying to call anybody out on their eBay stores or eBay listings, though I think it's important for people that are buying off of eBay, to be aware of um, some of these listing practices and kind of the kind of like the misses in terms of what I feel um, have some opportunity on eBay. David Carlisle, good to see you, buddy. Dave's not here, man. So I am going to share my screen here, and we're going to bring up the first one. Hey, Paula. So again, disclaimer, I'm not trying to call out anybody's eBay store. I just want to make sure that people that are buying off of eBay are aware of some of the things that are out there, because I don't feel like they're right. So this example is this picture right here looks like some kind of app, and they took some photos of it. I don't have an issue with that. It gives detail about the coin. I'm fine with that. Some of the concern that I have is the description. The description says 1981 D Lincoln penny. Then it's got repunched mint mark. But the thing is that I have at issue with this listing is that nowhere in here would it show that there is an RPM. There is no reference as far as listing for any RPMs as far as Variety Vista or anything like that. Like I'm not seeing a repunchment mark. I don't have any pictures of anything that is close enough that would tell me that this isn't a repunchment mark. So like I just have overall concerns of what the description is telling me that this coin is. So do I think that it is a 1981 D Lincoln? Sure. Is it a repunchment mark? No idea. And the seller does not give any information for this coin to be able to even reference anything to have any kind of confirmation for this. So I would have concerns that that it's even an RPM. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. So that's the first one. So just be aware of what people put in the description. And again, if you are going to be a seller of coins, especially varieties, and you have something like this, and you want to post an RPM, like have a picture of the RPM, have a screenshot of the listing in Variety Vista or Copper Coins or double dyed. Like have references to support what you're claiming that it is. It just shows that you have done your due diligence as a seller to accurately represent the coin that you're selling. And Paula, I 1000% agree with you. I would not pay $39 for an 81 in this condition. I just wouldn't. Hey, John Argent, welcome in.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, so this is the next one that's up. I've got a couple listings that are similar to this, but this is one of the things that especially Blues and I, it drives me nuts. This is the thing is that just makes me bonkers. So what they're claiming is that this is an old roll that has a blank planchet on one side, and then it has a perfectly good steel cent on the opposite side. I'm going to make this clear. This never existed. This roll is created. You will not find this in any old rolls or anything like that. This is 100% a seeded roll. And like I do understand why people are putting these rolls together. But this is, in my opinion, and this is going to be a strong opinion, but to me, it is a blank or a planchet. They are claiming that it is a blank planchet, so that's the listing. But to me, my concerns on this is this borderlines fraud, and the reason why I say that is because what I see is intentionally misrepresenting what is available. So we see that there is some kind of blank or planchet on one side. We have this roll that is just a plain brown paper roll, which you can still buy the papers of old coin rolls. And basically, these are manufactured rolls. And what frustrates me is just this: the price was $78 for a roll that's going to have a $2 blank on one side, a $3 steel, and then in the middle of it is probably going to be 40s and 50s common date. And it frustrates me to see listings like this because everything about this screams fake.
Key coin knowledge is everything. All right. CJ and I, we have videos out there explaining this stuff and how to attribute coins and all this good stuff and all that good stuff. Coin Q&A, they got their little YouTube thing going. Very informational if you're getting into coins and you're learning. I do recommend Coin Q&A on top of our channels. All right, they do a weekly show. They explain a lot of stuff. They go into detail about everything. Always something exciting. CJ and I, we do our videos and a lot of the same information, but knowledge is key. If you're spending $90 on a coin and you're believing what the title says, well, then you have every right to kiss that $90 goodbye because you don't know the right information or how to make sure that the information is correct. So
yeah, so and there's Ken Peavy, the professor. He put out all kinds of great videos on what to look for. There's plenty of information out there. Just like, if you have $80 that absolutely you need to spend, and this is what you're going to spend it on, it's entirely up to your choice to do that. Just try to be smart about it. It's all we really ask.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is a listing that actually Blues was talking about. So this particular seller has zero feedback. They have no other items listed, and it's just a plain 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, I don't have any issues with the description because the description accurately tells what this coin is. And I do also like that they have actually really good pictures. They have decent lighting and they've got good pictures of pretty much everything around the coin. So I'm actually going to give them a lot of props for this listing, specifically in the title and the pictures. These are great, great pictures. Now, the other side to that is that anybody looking at it, and Paula just said it, is that they could tell that this surface is not original. This has been cleaned. The fact that it's bright like this, and it's the full brown color, this has been altered, this has been cleaned, and this is not in original state. On top of that, we're looking at a 1944, which is a really common date, and we're looking at a mintage of 1.4 billion. So there's really nothing about this coin that would need or that would demand a $200 price tag on it. So again, know some basic things about the coin. Paula's right. This coin is worth basically what the copper is worth, and standard wheats are going to be around 3 to 4 cents wholesale. Like that's just it. And like you can see in here, there's plenty of gashes, there's plenty of marks. This is a well-loved coin, and it's definitely seen.
It's been loved, all right. It's been loved all over the Walmart parking lot.
I mean, it's not quite parking lot coin, but it's definitely on the slope towards it. So this kind of thing, like this is where I want people to, to really take in, hey, you can't just take a coin that you found in your pocket and put it on eBay and sell for $200. That's not how it works. And anybody that knows anything a little bit about coins could really understand, hey, this coin has been altered and not worth the price that's actually being put on it. What's up, Broke Stacker? Welcome in.
Hey, Stacker.
All right. So I got one of these. So I have another one of these, but oof, absolutely. So this is one of those things that, like, the number one thing that I want to point out is that it can't be unsearched. So that is a bold-faced lie, in my opinion. The fact that they claim to have a mercury dime ender, which is smaller than the actual coin, there was no way that this would make it through a coin rolling machine. It would, if it landed in the middle of the roll, potentially. And I say that because I have found dimes in penny rolls, but they are in the middle. They are not on the edge. Here's the other thing, is that when I click on this, everybody has seen this coin roll paper, because this is exactly the type of common paper of modern paper wrappers that you can get from literally anywhere, including the dollar store. This did not come from the bank. This did not get ran through a coin wrapping machine. This was not in circulation. Like, it just, everything about this is, I don't like this. So they claim to have a mercury dime on one side, and then the other side, so it's a wheat cent roll, but it's got an Indian ender, which I also question, because if it's unsearched and you have an Indian head on one side and a mercury dime on the other side, how do you know there's wheat in the middle of it if it's unsearched? I have some questions. So again, if you have $17 that absolutely just is burning a hole in your pocket, it is completely up to you. I did look at some of the feedback on this particular listing, and of items sold like this. And one of the ones it was really funny is that it was basically it was that other than the two coins on the ends, it was 40s and 50s in the middle of it, and they gave it like a 1 or 2 star review on it, which is exactly what these types of rolls are. These rolls that are sold online, please, If they have two fantastic coins on the ends, they are filled with garbage in the middle.
Yep. Now, this particular listing, the only problem I have with it is the word unsearched. If you took that word out, then that's what you're buying. You are buying a wheat cent roll with a mercury on one side and a wheat on the other.
The Indian.
Or the Indian, right? That's what it's right in the description. You get this coin, and you're going to get 48 wheat pennies in the middle.
That are mid 40s to mid 50s.
Regardless of the years.
Regardless of the years. Yep.
So if he took the word unsearched out, then the listing to what he is saying, to what he's selling, that is correct. In my opinion, is it a scam?
Probably.
My opinion. I'm entitled to that.
I don't like that it's very deceptive, because if you had somebody that was getting into the coin hobby, and they wanted to get rolls of stuff, thinking that they're like $17. Okay, this is gonna be really good with a bunch of really good coins, and they're gonna get this mercury dime in this Indian head, and then they're just gonna have a bunch of general, stuff in the middle. Like, I don't really feel like that's fair for the end user. Like, I really feel like that's really dishonest.
Yeah.
It's just me.
If you got that many wheat pennies sitting around, you could put them in packs of 500 and you'll get $45 for them on eBay all day long.
Yep.
How do we know that? Because I've sold 50 packs like that.
Yep.
And it basically says, I know it's 30s, 40s, and 50s. Wheat pennies, 500. Random years, some PD&S. Take a picture of the whole thing. I don't try to deceive people. They know what they're buying when they're buying wheat packs like that.
Yeah.
But the rolls with, look at there's a shiny silver penny or a shiny silver dime on it. And what was really funny about it is he sold 376 of them rolls. So he's really lucky about getting rolls with those particular enders on them every time.
Weird.
He needs to buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, for real. So this one I picked out because I personally have a number of discrepancies with this listing. Again, disclaimer, I'm not trying to call anybody out. I just want to make sure that you guys as end users are aware of this is what's out there. Don't get scammed. So this listing, I feel borderlines on the aspect of, well, this coin is shiny, so it must be worth money, or this coin is a blank, so it must be worth money. That is this prevalent misunderstanding of people that just want to make a quick buck. So this example is a 1970 no mint mark, which everybody knows that in the coin for the Lincoln cents, any coin that does not have the mint mark is made in Philadelphia. We know that. There are some exceptions. 2017, there's a P mint mark, but other than that, it has been minted in Philadelphia. So the no mint mark, I just have an issue with that. Like, it just hurts my sanity. But it is a Lincoln Memorial, which is true. It is a 3.1 grams, which again, it's before the Zinkin from 1982. So yes, it should weigh 3.1 grams, and it's a must-have coin. Well, number one, I have an issue with the pictures because the pictures affectionately look like that they were taken from the moon. Because I cannot tell condition of this coin other than it looks rough, and that's a generalized statement. The pictures are not clear. I don't know specifically what I'm looking at. And if I'm looking at a listing that says that this is a must-have coin, then what on this coin makes it that I must have it, especially for $75?
Yeah.
So
We talked about this earlier about adding fluff to your title. That is fluff.
okay. So right here is where I have a more particular issue. Is this description? So this description is an AI generated one. So this is where I'm like, hey, I don't necessarily have an issue with AI, but it can make assumptions that are incorrect. So the AI generation is the product is a circulated 1970 Lincoln Memorial penny from the United States weighing 3.1 grams. Technically correct. Although the fact that it starts off with the product just rubs me the wrong way. This coin is a small cent, technically accurate, although we don't use the term small cent because we've had small cents since 1856 technically, with no mint mark indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Okay, technically also correct. It is a business strike coin, uncertified and ungraded. Here's where I have the issue. It's this next line. After it is already stated that missing the mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. Okay, so bear with me. The absence of a mint mark makes this coin a must-have for collectors interested in varieties of the Lincoln Memorial Penny series. Everything about that sentence is inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
The absence of a mint mark makes this a must-have coin. No, it does not. There's nothing about this that would make it a must-have coin.
Yeah. And that's the problem with AI, because in his title he puts no mint mark. AI picked that up and took the information from the 1970 S dime that has no mint mark.
So there's a couple, because there's one from like the 1990. I think there's one from 1970, but it's very specifically a proof, which is minted in San Francisco and must have the S mint mark that is actually missing. And the fact that it was missed and struck with a die that did not have the S mint mark, that makes it a must have. But this example, completely inaccurate.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. AI picked up that keyword, no mint mark, and then added that to it.
Yeah.
So
pictures not from the moon, please.
Pictures that are in focus, please.
This is another one of those that I just have to laugh at, because this is allegedly one of those rolls that is a full wheat roll that has a mercury dime on the end. So they got lots of pictures of like random currency to make it be older, but it's still the same 6 rolls of coins. And again, like we've looked at these rolls, and we know this is modern wrapping. So this is just one of those examples that we talked about before, is that this is a manufactured roll. The fact that inside this roll, other than having the mercury dime, this was intentionally placed here. This side right here, I'm going to, yep, right there, how it's nice and shiny. This is the pre-crimped end of a shotgun roll. So what they did is they put the dime in there first, and then they put weeds behind it. And so the part that was actually open that you have to like fold over, that's on the bottom of this picture. That's down here. But
Hey,
these are modern wrapping on these rolls.
hey, Paula, who's that guy on YouTube that specializes in the rolls? I believe you had him as a guest one time.
Yeah, Paula says the sad thing is that people buy these all day.
Right.
Yes, and that is the sad part. Yeah. Oh, Blaine Newport.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to learn about rolls and what to look for and how to determine dates and everything, go watch his stuff. I watch his stuff and I know a lot. I know nothing compared to this guy's knowledge. All right. With listings like this, just be careful, be smart. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have an example of what a good one is going to be. This is one I don't think that I've bought from this seller before, but I appreciate how his listings are put together. So this is a 1923S Lincoln Wheat Cent. He's claiming that it's a very good or a VG. I mean, right in his pictures, he says, see pics. In his description, in his title, he also has some kind of labeling situation or labeling for what he has for his sales stock. So, and what I like about this is that here we have a full, clear picture of what it is. So we can clearly see, okay, yeah, this is, it's in rough condition, but you can very clearly see it's a 1923S. It's got some opportunity, clear front and back pictures. Like, this is what I really like, is that you can have, all of these really clean pictures to really get an idea, a really clear idea of this is the coin that I am buying. I'm buying this coin. So if I buy this coin, I should expect to see, these two spots of discoloration, this scratch. Like, I am going to expect to buy this coin. And he also has a graphic in there that says this coin shown is the one that you receive. As far as putting, the pictures as far as in your listing, if you choose to do something like that, that's entirely up to you. I put that information in the description for any of my listings, that you will get this coin that is in the pictures. Like, I specifically do that. And just like what I talked about earlier, the coding that I put in there and how I designate them, that I take a picture of that, so it's very clear. Like, I'm not trying to misrepresent anything. I am putting it out there with hopefully good enough pictures, and if somebody wants to buy it, then they have all of the pictures to make an informed decision on if they want to buy that coin or not.
Does it say that if he's shipping in a plain white envelope, or is that $4 in a bubble mailing?
It says first class.
Okay. I just want to touch on that a little bit about shipping. Shipping is going to be everywhere between free to $5. All right. That's just across the board correct. All right. Some people think they need to make money on shipping. I have seen listings where they said I use 4 inches of tape, 2 sheets of paper. I use 27 cents worth of ink. That's why my shipping charges are. They're trying to justify why they're charging that shipping. So anything between $0 to $5, pretty much the standard. Anything above that for one single coin, they're charging too much.
Yes.
All right.
So in the description of this, it's got the same description. It talks about the same thing, and it has some of the other things that I'm sure is on every single one of their listings. Like Blues and I were talking about as far as templates. Like this is going to be like the basic template or description template that they're going to use for all of the listings, because it has all of the base information that somebody would need to know anything about how they ship, or information about the seller. Again, that's entirely up to you on what you put on your description. But if you do put something on here, make sure it's real, and again, not any fluff about how many coins you've sold, or plus or anything that detracts from what your listing is.
Okay, I like that. I like what he did there.
I like how we split it up into the different sections and made it really bullet pointed. So just to have it, detailed, but able to be quickly read through.
Right, but even what he's saying, I mean, combined orders by three or more, get 10% discount. Free shipping on each additional item. So that, I mean, I give him some credit.
Yeah.
I mean, this particular seller seems legit just for what I am seeing. What, 208,000 feedbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 208,610. So like, yeah. I wanted to show both sides of the coin, as it were, as far as the bad listings, but also good listings, as far as like, these are the kinds of listings that if you wanted to, take a barometer or take a measure of what I feel a good listing is, or, you can look at their feedback, or, their rating or whatever. Like, this shows that clearly what they're doing is working for them. Like, there are some things that we could probably learn.
Yeah. Ooh, that's pretty.
So I picked this one again because I think it's like, I have a slight reservation on this particular listing, but it's minor compared to the listing as a whole. Here's some things that I like. Description: 1935 S Lincoln wheat penny, penny cent. I'm not sure why you would call it a penny and a cent, but but they're calling it a Gem BU red. Yes, I would concur that it is a red. Gem BU, that is going to be a little bit of a person to person. I think it could be a little variable, but one thing that I do like is the pictures. It's very clear, very clean pictures of both the front and the back. And just based off of these pictures, yeah, this coin is going to be red, and it's going to be BU. Gem BU, maybe. There's a couple of marks, which is kind of to be expected. But overall, like, it doesn't have a lot of specific, like, large problems with it. But that's the things that I like about this listing, is I think that's important. The thing that I don't like about this listing is that if I am looking for this specific coin and I want this specific coin. Over here, what they're saying quantity, and there's more than one, that means that this is just an example of the coins that they have, not specific to the one that I am buying. And although I don't feel like that is deceptive listing, me personally, I stay away from these types of listings that have a specific picture and have quantities. Now, if there are more pictures where you have more than one coin that is pictured, just so that you can get an idea of, okay, here are multiple examples of, say, the coins that came from this roll, that would be BU, like a BU roll. I could see that. That would make more sense to the quantity side of it. But for me, what I would prefer, if it was me, is if there is one picture of one coin, I want to be buying that one coin. I am basing, as a consumer, I am basing my decision on those pictures, not the description, not the general, hey, I just need this kind of coin. I just, that's not how I want to do that. So Paula says, yep, if that is not the exact coin I am buying, then I am not buying. And I agree with that, because I think that as a seller, I want to represent, hey, if I'm going to show you a picture, this is specifically the coin that you will be buying if you are buying it from me. And I try to make that as clear as possible, because I'm not selling like that. I don't sell very many, hey, I have X number of coins from a roll, using an individual picture. I will take close-ups, if I can, of some of the coins. But then I also have a picture of that roll as a whole as well, to show, hey, here are some examples from that roll. And I will say in the description that they are from a roll. Like, you are getting one coin from a roll, and here's the roll. So I'm not going to define whether it's gem BU. I'm not going to define, like, I might say it's BU, because that would be inaccurate description depending on what kind of item that I'm selling. But I wouldn't be any more specific from that, because I personally don't feel like it's too specific for just one picture.
Yeah. Sure is a pretty coin, though.
Yeah, so they have some purchase terms in here, really kind of basic. They don't ship internationally. Photos taken are stock photos. I get that. But I want that exact coin. That's me.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. If you're going to be selling coins and you're going to ship internationally, you better do your homework. Because if you charge $1 shipping and it goes international, that package could actually cost you $18. Guess who's out? You as the seller. So do your homework. I do not personally ship out of the US. It's in my listings. US shipping only. Am I taking clients off my list? Yeah. But that's a choice I make, so I don't have to deal with a lot of extra paperwork and everything.
So go ahead.
Another thing I wanted to touch on, because we saw CJ had some good examples of listings that needed work.
Had some opportunity.
Yeah, and we've seen some really good listings and correct ones and everything like that. And I and I wrote down my little note here is, how do you price your coin? This is not a price guide.
Well,
This is a checklist and a reference guide.
so I will say how I price them. So I, depending on what the coin is, as a seller, depending on what the coin is, I may put a generalized price, because of the research that I've done, and that is an approximate of what they sell for. Now, the other side to that is as far as what they sell for. So, number one, I do use my Red Book. I don't necessarily use it for pricing, although I will say that the Red Book is a good reference of like the difference between a 60-cent coin and a $2 coin. There's something going on between those two. It is a good barometer of what has more value than other ones, but not the specific value. Okay. So what I am doing is, number one, I'm looking on Numis Media to see what the going rate according to Numis Media is. Specifically for my platform that I am selling on eBay, I am looking at previous sales of eBay for that item. So you can do a search at the top, and then on the filters on the bottom, it should be on the bottom left, sold and completed listings. Those will be items that are sold. I try to look somewhere in the last 90 days to give myself a reference of, okay, this is what it has sold recently at. If I wanted to sell my item, I should be somewhere in this ballpark.
Yep.
Roughly. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk on this whole thing, because what we don't know is where the market is on coins in general, on that specific type of coin, value of the metal versus the numismatic value. There's a lot of variables and a lot of parameters in there that can affect the price. So that's why I just go off of basically the last 90 days or so, as far as what has been previously sold on eBay. Because if somebody, I'm listing my item on eBay, so if somebody is on eBay looking for this, then I want to make sure that I'm priced appropriately to give me the best option and the best effort to try to sell it. And there are some things that, hey, like, 3 of these 3-coin sets sold for $120, in the past 90 days, and I have mine listed up there for $100, and I can't sell it in 3 months. That's just what it is sometimes.
Yep. I go through it too. Interesting fact that you mentioned that really don't know where the coin market is. The coin market could change overnight on one coin. A good example is that was it earlier in the year where they broke the 1910 wheat penny that had the reverse of the 1909?
I believe so, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, overnight, the 1910 pennies
skyrocketed.
They skyrocketed because people are trying to find this new variety. They're trying to find this new thing that game, and those 1910s skyrocketed. So the coin market will change overnight. So on certain things, it could be bad.
So along with pricing, and I'm going to throw this one in too. For the pricing, so there are some variabilities that I put on my pricing, where, say, if I have an item that I have listed at $2, anything that I have listing on mine it's going to be a buy now price or a best offer. And depending on what the coin is, the lowest, like, best offer Could be $1.50, could be $1.25. I'm gonna have some kind of bandwidth in there for my pricing, because it also gives the opportunity for someone to say, hey, like, I know that, I don't want to spend $2 on this, but, can I save a little bit of money, and can I offer $1.75? Well, chances are I will probably take $1.75 for that $2 coin, because I don't feel like that it's that much loss in total profit from what I got it from, or it's within the acceptable margins of what I got it for and what the coin sells for.
Yeah.
So there are very few of my listings that are a buy it now with no option for offer. And 99% of the listings that I have are all buy it nows, because I don't like auctions. Like, I fear auctions, and I'm just being really just real. I fear auctions because I feel like that if I don't put it up there in the right time, scheduled at the right time, to calculate when most people are going to see it, to have the highest number of bids against it, and I'm going to lose money on it. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. And for me, I would rather just buy it now price with an option for offer, and when somebody comes across it, they're going to come across it.
Yep. Yep.
And I know that Blue is specifically, you and I have talked about that specific thing, because I know you prefer to do it auctions.
Yeah. But you also got to remember, everything I'm selling on eBay, I got a penny in. If I'm selling a wheat penny, it costs me a wheat penny. So if I sell it for a nickel, I got net profit of 4 cents. That's a win. It's not a very good win, but it's a win. How you doing on your list over there, CJ?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of other things as far as when you are listing coins, decide what kind of pictures that you want, and always take those. So just like, the listing I showed for the 1923S, like, this seller has the same style pictures in every single one of his listings. So any listing that you pull up, you will know, hey, I know who this is from, good or bad.
Yeah.
But have consistency in the way that you post things, as far as the way that your description reads, the information that you have in the description, in the pictures that you take, because all of that, in my opinion, this is just CJ's opinion, all of that really defines your brand on eBay, and it really defines you as a seller. And if you have all of those things that are right on the money, like, you can expect that people will be repeat buyers. Like, how many repeat buyers do you have? Last time I checked, it was like 7 or 8.
I got a bunch.
And you got a bunch, and they keep buying the same things. Like, the guy that bought the Hot Wheels, is that the third time that he's bought Hot Wheels from you?
He just keeps buying Hot Wheels from me.
Like, and that's the thing, is that like Blues has become like the go-to seller for Hot Wheels for this guy. Paula, yes. I did go to the coin show in Portland. It was extremely claustrophobic. For me, it was way too crowded. But I ended up going to the one here in Salem, at the fairgrounds, and I actually ended up getting a couple of pieces there, and I was a lot happier with that coin show than the Portland one. The Portland one was just, it was a lot. it was just a lot for me. So I am tentatively planning going to the Kent Boeing's employee coin show third week in January up in Kent, Washington. I want to say that's like the 19th or something. 18th, 19th. Small right. It was at I may be incorrect, Blue Moon, but I want to say Monarch, the Monarch Hotel. It was right off of like 205. It was technically in like Clackamas, Milwaukee area, but it was so small. Like the space in between, like the, so there's like, they have the tables, like they have the outside ring and then they have the inside ring, right? And outside of those tables, they had chairs, and the space between the chairs was like roughly my shoulder width. So, like the entire time, I was walking sideways through this very, very crowded, hot room. And so I did not like that one at all. But the Salem one, Paula, they had a lot more room. They actually had a lot more room that that there was more booths that could go up. So definitely the Salem one, if you can get in on that one. That one's hosted by I think by the same group, Willamette Coin Club. But that one, I really did like that one a lot better. Lumen says, okay, I went to that one. Monarch Hotel. Was the Morgan guy there, TJ? Hey, Blue Moon, there were so many Morgans, graded, slabbed Morgans, than I have seen in my entire life put together in that one room. I have never in my ever life have seen that many slabbed Morgans in one spot. I was just ballparking, and this one group of tables that this one company had, they had like 6-8 foot tables, and every single one had an entire like 2 foot by 3 foot, I don't mean plastic tray, and it was filled top to bottom with nothing but graded Morgans. And I'm not talking about like VF or XF or you know, very good or good. I'm talking about like MS Morgans. And I'm like, just to ballpark the amount of money that was on those tables, oh my goodness. Millions and millions.
Yep.
Wild.
Same thing with my shows here. I like sitting back against the wall and just kind of keep an eye on the tables, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And it's just weird. People come in there with suitcases with just full of $100 bills, and they're leaving with 100 ounces, 200 ounces, 300, 400 ounces of coins.
Yeah, there's basically like 3 or 4 like groups of people, right? So there was everybody that had slabs. There was one guy that I saw him at both the Portland show and the Salem show, that had all of the fantasy silver pieces, which, you know, people like that. So there was that. There was the rock guy that had all fancy rocks. And then there was like, there was several that just had cases of slabbed coins. But at least the Salem one, it was decently busy the entire time. It wasn't like quite nearly as packed, but also the space that the Salem show was in, was in a space like 4 times bigger than that conference room that was in Portland. So just a lot more room to walk around in. Just a lot more variety versus the one in Portland that was like there was maybe 3 or 4 tables that was the bullion dealers. But like 95% of the Portland one was just nothing but slabs, just slabs for days. Now they did have a couple of tables that had folders, so you could go through and pick out individual coins. So they had folders in for the quarters, for the Kennedys, for the dimes, the nickels, and the pennies. That you go through and you could pick out the individual coins for specific ones that you were looking for. So I actually really enjoyed that aspect, as far as just the variability of what was there on technically both of them.
Hey CJ, I'll be back in a second.
Okay. So a lot of so yeah, I don't think that you would be too, like, it would be too dead for the Salem one. I really wish that the Portland one was just in a bigger room, because at least when I went an hour after it opened on Saturday, and it was just packed. So maybe it was just the timing that I went versus the Salem one, where I went maybe 2 hours after it opened. So it was a lot calmer then. But so, like, some of the people that I had talked to at the Salem one, like, I was looking for Flying Eagles, because of course I'm looking for Flying Eagles. There was a guy or somebody that had come in first thing in the morning and basically went through and bought out everyone's Flying Eagles. I have no idea who it was, but I'm just like, well, that's not great, because basically killed any of my options for picking up any Flying Eagle varieties. But yeah, I really didn't like that conference room at the Monarch. Again, maybe if I came in like maybe an hour or two later, when it kind of thinned out at least a little bit, but it was a lot for me. It was just a lot.
Yeah, coin shows are fun.
Yeah, I just the thing is that, like, I have kind of the two, what I feel are like the two opposite ends of what the coin shows, like the coin show experience. So like I'm really curious on what the Boeing employees coin show is going to be like in Kent. Like, is it going to be more like the Portland one, or is it going to be more like the Salem one? Is it going to be somewhere in between? Like, I kind of hope it's somewhere in between, because then at least I get, okay, hey, like, if I want to focus on X, then I need to ensure that I make it to whatever. Or, if I wanted to get a table or something, then I would want to do, go to the Salem one, because there's better space there. So
wait till you go to one of the big conventions. You're going to have road rage in that place.
Oh, dude. Oh. Why are you stopping right there? Just why? What are you doing? Walk. So it was definitely a new experience for me for this year, because this year was the first year that I was actually able to go to coin shows, versus years in the past, just busy with work and everything. But I do enjoy looking around, especially to the same one. I took my son with me, And I sent him on a little quest. I'm like, okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for these 2 or 3 commemoratives, looking for any flying eagles, and you tell me if you find any. So he kind of scouted some of them out for me, and so he was able to find a couple of a couple of key coins that I was looking for, which was really helpful. So so if you do go to a coin show, words are hard. Don't go alone. Go with somebody. If you go to a coin show with the intention of buying, know the pricing of what you want to spend for it before you go there, because I will tell you, you get there and you're like, hey, that's a great looking coin, and you're like, how much is it? And they're like, yeah, it's $2,300. You're like, oh.
It sure is pretty.
It sure is pretty. Paula, yes, we are very overdue for a Panera lunch. Very overdue.
I want to go. I'm like 1,900 miles away from you guys, but
I
I
mean,
want to go.
you can make that in a couple of hours. You're fine.
Or sell some stuff on eBay, and I'll take a private jet down there.
Right? Well, and here's the other thing is that, and this is kind of on topic, but also way off topic, is I would like to make it to like Texas or something where some of the bigger coin shows are, because then I could meet up with Eric, I can meet up with Shay. I think Coin Dragon is down in Texas, right?
Yes.
Like potentially Coin Dragon. Like it would be really cool to just kind of make the rounds and just spend some time down there too.
Yeah.
Because it's been a little while since I was in Texas.
The big convention they have up in Denver.
Which one in Denver?
It's like a 5-day show. I mean, it's by day one, you're like, oh.
Challenge accepted. I've got caffeine for this. Let's do this.
Yeah, they got like 10 hours of seminars every day from different speak. I mean, it's big.
It's a full blown thing.
It's a full blown thing.
CJ, too bad you couldn't have gone to Tulsa last. Yeah, that was not gonna work out for me. Yeah. I wanted it to, but it just wasn't happening.
I missed Tulsa this year, but I also have 4 dogs and no one to take care of them, so I get left out on some stuff because of that. But that's the choice I make on having dogs.
We need to find a doggy daycare like on the way in between your house and Tulsa.
Yeah.
Or like a doggy boarding, just for a few days. You're not going this year? Why are you not going this year, Paula? Oh, the fun show. Oh my goodness. I don't think that I would survive in Florida. I don't think that I could do that.
You would melt.
I would probably melt.
You wouldn't make it here in Oklahoma in the summertime either.
Probably not. Oh, reasons. Okay.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough. Paula, do you have capacity to go to the Kent Boeing employee coin show in January? I don't know what are the coin shows. I believe it's the 18th and 19th. But I'll send you a Facebook message on the exact. But that's the closest. How far is Kent? Kent, Washington. Is it east of Seattle? Southeast?
I don't know why you're looking at me.
Because for some reason I know that you used to live in Washington, and then the realization that no, you lived in Spokane, which is nowhere near.
Yeah, that's a whole different part of Washington.
Okay. So Kent is south of Seattle.
Isn't
North of Puyallup. Let's see. Just south of Tukwila. I mean, yeah, it would be a drive.
there'll be one in between you guys. You'll be able to meet up.
Yeah. Yeah, she says I may be able to go. I can't set up a table, but would like to try to go. What do you have slated for Conecuh in Oregon? What's your next one here? Conecuh. I said that right? It's not Conecuh, it's Conecuh. CoinZip coin shows. We are looking in. Don't have one. So it looks like for Oregon, there's May 25th in Albany and July 13th in Salem. So Albany, that one's going to be, yes, Conecuh. That's right. I remember it. So this one, the one in Albany, is going to be at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center. That's really close to my work, actually. That's this just down the street there. So yeah, it would be those two, and that's until July. May 25th and July. I'll have to. Yeah, both of those are literally within 30 minutes of me. So if you decide to come up here, then yeah, we're gonna have to plan something out, because if I'm gonna be really hurt, Paula, if you come up and do a coin show and you're not calling me out. Just saying.
Well, you kidding? We get called out all the time on YouTube. Bad and funny joke. It's not true. We don't get called out.
I'm just saying. It's going to be one of those things like, Paula's literally in my neighborhood. She's 10 minutes away from me, doesn't message me. See how it is. Just kidding. So I don't know if there's any other local coin shows before then, specifically in Oregon, because I think, Paula, what you were talking about is specific to the Oregon side of Conecuh, or for Conecuh. But yeah, the CoinZip only has May 25th and July 13th currently on the schedule. I don't know of any other ones that are that have been on the schedule yet. So, but if I find something, I will let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you can set up anywhere? Okay. Yeah, because the Kent one was the next one that I was going to try to go to, just because it's closer. But yeah, otherwise, the ones in Salem and Albany, like, I'm going to have to go to those. I mean, it's literally around the corner from my house. like literally. So yeah, so selling coins online. We talked about a lot today. Number one, I want to thank everybody that came in and really, talking a lot in the chat and asking some good questions. And again, disclaimer number 4 was my intention was not to call out any specific sellers on eBay, but just as consumers of buying and selling coins. I just wanted to make sure that you guys had the awareness of, hey, this is what's currently posted on eBay, and some benefits of learning from these posts as far as what to stay away from. And but also on the other side is what does work. What are some things that work for that if you want to post online, doesn't always have to be on eBay, but just, if you're going to post it anywhere else, like you can use the same basics of information, making sure that you have good descriptions, that you're descriptive about what you're selling, have good pictures, and that your pricing is correct. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Really appreciate it. You coming in and hanging out with us. Yeah, you want anything, Blues?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, you know where to find Blues and I. We can always be found on YouTube or Facebook. So give us a shout, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.